Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And we are streaming live simultaneously in 3 different places, and this is the official New York Jets post-game show for Heavy on Jets and also on my Boy Green social media channels. Again, we're streaming live right now on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page to over 20,000 New York Jet fans. On my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and of course on my Twitter account at BoyGreen25. And every single week following the game, this is our new schedule. 2 hours after every game, we're going to go live again here on Heavy on Jets, my Twitter account and my YouTube account. So guys, make sure you bookmark this, make sure you like the video and hit subscribe down below. And for those of you who are new to the show, this is an interactive program. We want to hear from you, the fans. If you've got questions, comments, celebration, and what was an improbable, an unlikely New York Jets dub, a New York Jets victory. They stole victory out of the jaws of defeat, and boy, was it marvelous. Was it magical? And we're going to talk about the entire journey, and of course, look ahead to the Cincinnati Bengals home game coming up in Week 3 at MetLife Stadium, which should be rocking crazy. Again, my name is Boy Green, everybody. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot to get to here on the program. And as I said before, I'll say it one more time. Make sure you show your support no matter where you're watching. If you're watching on our Heavy on Jets Facebook page, like the post. Give it more interactions. That helps it buzz and get to even more New York Jet fans. So again, like the post, comment, jump in, and feel free to test out the water. See if it's warm. See if you like it. Invite a few friends if you'd like to this pool party, baby. And like I said, also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Like and hit subscribe. Guys, what a marvelous win. Magical. As I said earlier, so much to dissect with this game, but we have to start at the end, and then we'll work our way through the rest. With about, I think Field Yates is the one who sent out the tweet, so we'll give old Field Yates the love here on the breakdown. With 1:55 remaining in this contest, in the fourth quarter, Nick Chubb galloped into the end zone. And of course, the Browns would miss that extra point, and they would go up 30-17. With 1:55 remaining, the Cleveland Browns led by 13 points. The Jets had no timeouts left, which, of course, as Field Yates indicated on social media, means if Chubb decided to just hit the canvas instead of diving into the end zone, the Browns would have won the game. The Jets had no timeouts. If they just needed out, game over. Of course, that didn't happen. And Chubb got into the end zone. And then the Jets scored with an unbelievable monster Corey Davis touchdown and an absolute wide open break. And the things you don't see. And here's the other thing you don't see. You don't normally see the New York Jets winning a game like this. You absolutely do not. The Jets historically, these are the kinds of games they blow on the other end. But the Jets this time had a different story to tell, had a different chapter to write in the story. And again, massive shout out to Corey Davis, who caught the 66-yarder. Want to make sure I got the yardage right on that. The 66-yarder walk-off. Not walk-off touchdown in terms of win, but walk-off like, oh, whoa. Wait a second. A lot of Browns fans go, whoa, we were just celebrating. We were just getting ready for a dub. What happened here? And we know what happened because the Jets scored that touchdown. Then they gave him a little onside kick magic. And what about the retribution, if I may, with the Step Brothers line? The Dumb and Dumber line, excuse me. Totally redeemed yourself, Braden Mann, with the onside kick that Jay Feely, the literal kicking expert on the CBS broadcast, said, oh, it is definitely going right. No question about it. And whoop! He kicks it left and gives an opportunity to make something happen there. That, to me, was absolutely spectacular. Braden Mann, again, totally redeeming yourself. And really, it felt like totally redeeming yourself was the theme of the day. Ashton Davis with the game-sealing interception on Jacoby Brissett, saying, not so fast, my friend. Getting his hand on the ball, slide, Jets knee it out, Jets get the win. We will be celebrating a victory Monday, tomorrow, of course. But it was a totally redeeming yourself kind of day because, again, you got contributions from Braden Mann. You got contributions, of course, as we've already mentioned, from Corey Davis, a guy who dropped a key third down last week in a Baltimore Ravens season opener. So it was just, and Ashton Davis, as we mentioned with the pick. So it was, again, the reclamation projects. It was these guys that we had cast aside. Braden Mann, oh, you're terrible. You shanked a 20-yard punt in the season opener. Get the heck out of here, pal. And then you go to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And it was one of those opportunities where they were able to put the pieces together. Now, obviously, if I may, the fact of the matter is the New York Jets did not play a complete game. They actually did everything in their power to shoot themselves in the foot. And really, one of the big things from all of this, of course, were the penalties, which, again, the Jets were absolutely terrible from that perspective in that category, just consistently shooting themselves in the foot. 8 penalties, 57 yards. Now, part of it, you could say, refs, what the hell is going on over there? Because there were some questionable calls that really took the Jets out. Michael Carter running it inside the 10-yard line. Whoa, holding on George Fant, and Robert Saleh was emphatically upset, going, what is going on over here? And I think a lot of us were, quite frankly, at home. But I think the Jets shot themselves in the foot enough of their own accord that this was not going to be one of those games where we said penalties decided this game, but they certainly did not help. But again, the Jets were able to overcome that. I think DJ Reed is the one who had the quote after the game saying, the offense, the defense, nor the special teams have all played a complete game at the same time yet. Again, only 2 weeks into this season. And he said, when we do, we'll be popping. And there's no question about it. As the New York Jets win this one 31-30, improbable. They were down 13 with less than 2 minutes remaining, and they were able to find a way to make it happen. And of course, before we get to all your comments and questions and everybody, again, this is an interactive show. If you're just joining us, throw some comments in, celebrate with us as the Jets end an embarrassing drought. Heading into this one, the Jets had lost 13 straight games in the month of September. 13. What? What that really means is, because that dates all the way back to 2018, every year the Jets are starting 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. And then before you know it, the Jets have dug themselves in these massive holes that they have to try to build themselves back out of. And that's why optimism has waned for the New York Jets heading into a lot of these years. However, not this time, as obviously we saw in this contest. So the Jets end that drought, thank goodness, which was 13 straight, dating all the way back to Sam Darnold's rookie year. We're already on a new New York Jets quarterback, for Pete's sake. Anywho, let's get to some of the comments. We got Kobe, and you can see with that little symbol by Kobe's name, he is a member of our YouTube channel, which again is youtube.com/boygreen25. For a cup of coffee, you can support the channel. So feel free to do that on our YouTube show if you like what you hear, if you want a little sizzle, a little sazzle, and we could talk about it here on the show. Kobe saying, let's go. What a big time win. It absolutely was. And I will say this, Kobe, RIP. What I will say about this, my Kobe friend, is quite frankly this. Is the narrative completely shifted? Imagine this, okay? Because quite frankly, we were on the precipice. We were on the edge of this actually happening. The New York Jets were this close to losing, and they would have been 0-2. The narrative would have been Robert Saleh calling for receipts, and look at him. He's left out there, left hanging in the wind, so to speak. Where are the receipts now, pal? You got kind of smacked around by the Browns in what could be a one-score loss, but probably not with them down 13, again, with less than 2 minutes remaining. It was set to be the game that coulda, woulda, shoulda. It was competitive heading into the fourth quarter, but no moral victories here. The Jets, of course, flipped that narrative. But again, they could have been 0-2. Heading into that Week 3 Bengals game, which, by the way, the last time I checked, as we're kind of recording this live here a little after 6 o'clock, the secondary games on a Sunday are obviously going on right now. The Bengals are getting smacked around by the Cooper Rush Cowboys. What the hell? Week 1, they lose to Pittsburgh Steelers on a weird game where they committed 5 turnovers from Joe Flacco. Then Week 2, so far, they're getting kind of tossed around by the Cowboys. And the Jets got to be looking at themselves like, why not us? Especially to a team they beat last year 34-31 with a C-plus roster. Not just C-plus roster in terms of the talent, but C-plus in terms of the quarterback. They had Mike White out there. Who? Exactly. They had him out there trying to deal. So the Jets are now going to dream that impossible dream as they trek back to MetLife Stadium. Instead of crawling back, trek back saying, you know what? Let's give these Bengals a game. We beat them last year, and our talent has increased, and the Bengals are playing like a bunch of doo-doo. Maybe we can beat them. And even if not, that week 4 game against Pittsburgh, who just lost to the checks, notes, Mac Jones, New England Patriots in Pittsburgh, that was possible. Now, the entire narrative changes on how you perceive the Jets season with a win today. It was magical. It was big time. And the Browns fans can be chirping. They can be trolling, saying, well, we blew it. Oh, we don't care. The Jets have blown enough games where it's about time the pendulum swings back the other way. Am I right or am I right? All right, let's keep going here. Terry Holland on our Facebook page. What's up, Paul? Love the GOT avatar. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. Got to catch up on House of Dragon, though. It's been nice. Let's go to Monty on YouTube. Huge win for us. Go green. You bet it is, Monty. It is a huge win. And September wins have not come very often, so we got to savor the flavor. All right, let's go to Samuel Ford here on Facebook. Go Jets. Let's go. Amen, baby. Monty with the JETS chant. Love it. Yes, that's what you love to see. John Rossi, outstanding, simply outstanding game. And again, it's part of the headline, so how can we not talk about it immediately? What about Garrett Wilson, affectionately known as G-Dub? Absolutely. And this game was really cool for Garrett Wilson in a lot of ways. Of course, we all know week 1, he gets 6 snaps in the first half against the Baltimore Ravens. A guy who was the number 10 overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft. The first-round wide receiver taken by the New York Jets in 21 years. The highest drafted wide receiver by the New York Jets since 1996. Oh, yeah, some guy named Keyshawn Johnson was the number 1 pick. So this was just not your grandpa's first-round wide receiver. This was an emphatic, historic draft selection by the New York Jets, but you wouldn't have known it based off of week 1 where he had 4 catches for 50-something yards and, more importantly, 6 snaps. The Jets aren't good enough to take a guy with the number 10 overall pick and then say, well, our wide receiving core is pretty deep. Well, we were trying to do a jumbo package. I don't give a flying hoot what package you were trying to run. How about do the package that Garrett Wilson's on the field? And my man absolutely put an emphatic stamp on his arrival as a absolute superstar wide receiver 1. And a lot of people believe Elijah Moore's a wide receiver 1. You want to know what? How about multiple wide receiver 1s? Wouldn't that be nice for the New York Jets? Spectacular performance. I mean, Garrett Wilson in just his second career game absolutely put the team on his back. He had the scary back injury earlier in the game where he came crashing down, holding his back, maybe a hip injury, maybe a back injury. What's happening here? And old Garrett Wilson, his back was hurt from carrying this gosh darn team. That's why his back was hurt. In all seriousness, he ended up coming back in the game. Injury note, by the way, in the middle of this Garrett Wilson hoopla talk, all the injuries that scared us in this game. Jermaine Johnson going down. Sauce Gardner going down. And as we mentioned, Garrett Wilson going down. Quinnen Williams going down. All these injuries, like, oh no, good Lord, the Jets injury bug has came back, but Garrett Wilson obviously came back in this game. Sauce Gardner came back. Jermaine Johnson came back. Quinnen Williams went to the locker room. Oh no, foot ankle issue. Not again. Boom, he comes back. So everyone that was injured at one point in the game came back to finish the game. That's exactly what you want to see. Exactly. And it was absolutely brilliant. So all the injuries questions, all of that was solved. All of that was accounted for with them delivering from that standpoint. So I want to give a huge shout out to the medical staff, and thank goodness, knock on wood, there was nothing there from that perspective. By the way, Garrett Wilson led the team in receptions, led the team in yards, and of course, led the team in touchdowns. He had 8 receptions, 102 yards, 12.8 per clip, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner, and a 31-yarder was the longest. ESPN has him for 14 targets, but some of the ESPN advanced stats have him for 15 plus targets in this game. So we'll wait to see how the analytics kind of solve themselves. We have varying differences between NFL next gen stats and others, but Garrett Wilson, an absolute dude. And by the way, I got to give the quote from the top of the headline of this video. DJ Reed says Garrett Wilson gives him, quote, Justin Jefferson vibes. And by the way, Justin Jefferson is lighting the NFL world on fire after being a former first-round pick out of the LSU University. So, hey, Justin Jefferson vibes, sign me up, baby. Yes, that is beautiful. And Rocky, I think this is a great point by you on Facebook. Yes, we can. Joe Flacco, after the game last week where they lost to the Baltimore Ravens, said one of the big keys for this locker room, for this roster, for this team is to believe, yes, we can. Now, on paper, all of us says, ooh, talent, the most talented Jets team in a while, but the tangible results were not there. In a result-oriented business, because that's what this is, The results were not there. The Jets had no wins to show for it up until this win right here. So Joe Flacco said the team thinks it can be great, thinks it can win games, but he said, Joe Flacco, they have to go out and do it last week, and boy, did they. Yes, we can. Now that aura is around the locker room. Now, some people may just say week 2 win against a Browns team that blew it. To me, I think this is the chance, and I don't want to be too hyperbolic here, but I think this is the chance to change your entire season. That when you have this belief and you're seeing the crazy videos come from the New York Jets in the locker room of the energy that's palpable, and again, that thought process that we believe we can do it, and maybe this is the win that gets this locomotive moving downhill. So great point there, Rocky, on our Facebook page. Again, we're streaming live right now on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Get involved here on the postgame show. We'll be here every single week for every single New York Jets game this season, 2 hours after the final whistle blows. And again, it'll be heavy on Jets YouTube and Twitter account. Get involved here on the show if you'd like. Let's go to Up, and Away, 2641. I love that name. What up, Paul Boy Green? We got a win. Hell yeah. You damn right we did. It was beautiful, man, and it's great just to get a win. It just feels good. You feel it in your gut. Jet fans haven't experienced this in a while. So my celebration, my pure euphoria, and that's the other thing that I think helps with this 2 hours thing, because, you know, I am a loud, abrasive guy already, so I'm already yelling all over the place, as you guys have seen through the first 16 minutes of this show. But I was absolutely obnoxious, absolutely intolerable, quite frankly, after the game. That happened minutes after. I'm just fist pumping. I threw a video up on Twitter real quick because I knew we weren't doing the show immediately live. So I wanted to give you guys a little taste of what was going through my head as the Jets get this improbable win. But it just felt good to release it. And I will also tell you, for those who may or may not be interested in my personal life, I went on Saturday to the Syracuse game, Syracuse football. It's right in my backyard here in upstate New York. And Syracuse played Purdue, and they had a last second, like 7 seconds to go or something, walk-off touchdown to beat Purdue. So, and I was there live in the stadium, JMA Wireless Dome, and my juices are already flowing like, oh, baby, what a great weekend. And then who would have thought that the Jets had a little bit of a bigger surprise less than 24 hours later. Let's go to Emilio. If it ain't the Jets, is it really a franchise, though? I mean, come on, people. And the other thing that really gets me about the New York Jets in general is that things don't come easy for this organization. This is an organization that everyone knows. They've had one winning season in the last 11 years. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2010. There's been a lot of mediocrity, a lot of lack of hope. Hope during the offseason, as we all do, but not enough tangible results to say, hey, we're in this thing. You know, on the old playoff thing, in the hunt, right? Jets haven't been there. And by the way, even the one magical year, the only one winning season in the last 11 years that came in 2015, we didn't see that coming. We didn't know. So, I mean, we rode the magical carpet that took us all over the land, but we didn't see that coming. This year heading in, we had legitimate buzz among the fan base of we can do something. And then obviously the harsh reality of 3 points up until the final minute of that Ravens game where he scored a late touchdown. It was just like, wow, man, what's going to happen here? And it was awesome. A lot of reactions here all over our social media portals. Old Jimbo, love the win. Yes, sir. Big Daddy on YouTube. Insane day. That is a great way to describe it. An insane comeback, an insane way. That was roller coastery because at first the Browns are scoring like nobody's business. The Jets respond at the end of the half with the Breece Hall touchdown. By the way, get the rookies involved. Good move. If the Jets are going to surprise people this year, they need the rookies to be instant impact guys. And we saw that today. Sauce kind of got tossed around a little bit today. He did not give up that touchdown in the end zone as the refs, which, by the way, were just god-awful. I'm just going to be honest. And it feels even better to say that after a win because it's not like we're using it as an excuse. But whoa, they were terrible. I mean, they were blowing things left and right, calling phantom penalties that weren't there. And Robert Shaw was pissed. And by the way, rightfully so, because the refs were trying to, do some dirty things to the New York Jets. And thankfully, they overcame the odds to win the game. But it was insane. Terry Holland, happy they won, but that defense couldn't stop anyone. I mean, on that first opening drive by Cleveland, it was a hot knife through butter. I mean, it was hard to watch. And I will be honest, as we were going through this game, one of the most annoying things for me, Terry, is that we've been talking about this Jets defensive line being pretty special several occasions over the last 11 years. Remember Muhammad Wilkerson, and you had Leonard Williams, Damon Harrison, and Sheldon Richardson. All these guys were like, oh man, Jets defensive line is crazy. But sometimes we talk it up and then they wouldn't do anything. Heading into that Ravens game, Ronnie Stanley did not play. The backup left tackle for the Ravens, Juwan James, blows out his Achilles during the game. We're like, oh man, the Jets should feast here. But they didn't disrupt like Lamar Jackson like at all. I remember Jermaine Johnson getting the sack on the late developing play. I mean, but nothing. So throughout this game, right, this Browns offensive line isn't your grandpa's Browns offensive line. They're good, but they're not great. Jack Conklin didn't play. Like, they were missing some pieces, and the Jets defense was like, where are you? Where? I saw all these Jets defenders on the side of milk cartons all over the world. Like, where the hell is the Jets defense? But finally, Carl Lawson had this great disruptive play late that obviously was huge. And I will tell you this. This is, I know we're talking and we're feeling it, and we should, that this Jets-Browns win is phenomenal. But looking ahead to the Bengals, they allowed like 7 sacks week 1, and I'm no longer watching the Cowboys game. It's on in the other room. But the Bengals offensive line in the first half allowed another 4 sacks, plus whatever else, because Micah Parsons a freak. So that's another advantage that the Jets, quite frankly, just need to take advantage of. They get the win today, and it wasn't perfect by any means. So hopefully, Carl Lawson in a revenge game against his old Bengals, and some of these guys are like, dude, we are so much more talented than this. Let's take over a game, because the offense is the one that kept the Jets in the game, not the defense. There's a couple guys to stand out. DJ Reed's game touchdown-saving tackle on Nick Chubb was brilliant with the dive on the left. They ended up scoring anyway, but on that one in particular. So there is some guys on the defense individually that are pop. Quan Alexander looks really good. But still, they need to rally this unit because it was tough. It was really tough. I will say overall, in terms of the rushing, the Jets were nowhere near as locked down as they certainly were against the Baltimore Ravens, where they allowed 63 yards, of rushing offense to the Ravens. This time around, they allowed 184 yards rushing, 5 yards a clip, 3 touchdowns. And Nick Chubb ran all over the place, 5.1 per clip. He had all three of those touchdowns. Kareem Hunt ran all over, 58 yards, 4.5 per clip. And Jacoby Brissett, Lamar Jackson, who the hell was out of there hitting the spin move? Like, okay, Lamar Jackson, fine. Okay, he's a dynamic player. He's a freak of an athlete. Like, okay, I get it. If Lamar gets you a couple times, which, by the way, he really didn't outside of that 1 3rd down play last week. But Jacoby Brissett, his old ass is hitting the spin move. He's hitting the circle button on us. Jacoby Brissett? What the hell? What was happening out there? Did anyone else see that? Like, he got it, and then we thought there was some pressure from like Sheldon Rankins or Quinn Williams on the inside. He goes, whoop, and he starts like juking people. I'm like, who the hell is this? Who is this guy? So the Jacoby Brissett rushing, which, by the way, he finished the day with a respectable 43 yards on a 7.2 per clip. Jets defense in film session tomorrow. They probably get tomorrow off because of the victory. And then normally they get the day off anyway on Tuesday. So I don't know how that's, they're going to still watch the film probably tomorrow and have a light day. But like, damn, I'm looking at this defense like, what the hell, man? You got to fix that crap up real quick. Like, Joe Burrow isn't light of foot, so it's not like he's going to be doing anything. But I didn't think Jacoby Brissett was that light of foot either. And look at him. And then week 4, of course, you get like Trubisky. He's got a little bit more mobility to his game than people think if he's still the quarterback at that point. But man, what the hell? Yeah, there was a lot of questionable on that defense, Terry. Very good call. All right, there is a long message here from a boy, Mitch Weisenstein, but let's try to dive through it here. Whoa, this is a story. All you can see is like my eyebrows now, so I'll try to react as I can to this story. Joe Cool, Wilson coming out party. I know are my years of Jet frustration on my sleeve, but today's comeback was the best I've ever seen since the Monday night comeback against Miami in 2000. Wilson's most dynamic receiver to put on a Jet uniform since Wesley Walker, Mr. 8'5". Hats off to the team. They play hard for their coach. Friggin' amazing. All right, hopefully my eyebrows gave you a lot of entertainment during that read. But great comments there, Mitch. And Mitch, I think, and not to single out Mitch, because he's great. He's been joining all these live shows for a long time. So, Mitch, I love the heck out of you, man. But I'm going to use you as an example for a second. I think there are a lot of Jet fans that are listening right now, that are watching, that have been beaten down over the years. And that happens because the Jets have provided a lot of horrible memories, battle scars of when you were optimistic, when you were excited about the team and they smacked you in the face and said, I don't know why you were getting optimistic. You knew what was going to happen. And Jet fans like, man, same old Jets. You know, that stupid quote that's always around. Whenever the Jets stink, same old Jets, they suck. And then Saturday Night Live, the Jets, LOL. And all these people, Peyton Manning throwing a Jets joke on Monday Night Football this past week, going, yeah, throw it 59 times. Look, great, Jets. You know what? The Jets, unfortunately, because of how they've played, they have no one to blame but themselves for being the walking punching line for everyone in the NFL. But hopefully this time around, they say, hey, hold that same old Jets for somebody else. And Mitch, I know you've been beaten down, but I hope you were able to savor this win and enjoy it, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fortune teller. Although I often say I don't give predictions, I give spoiler alerts with some of my sexy predictions on the show, because obviously I'm never wrong. Wink. But however, I will say this, is that I want you guys to savor it, because we don't know. Are they going to beat the Bengals next week? Who knows? We'll break it down all week on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page for all your articles, graphics, engagements, and a lot of fun stuff. But I'll tell you this. We don't know what's going to happen, so savor this win. Enjoy your victory Monday. Tag me up on social media, @BoyGreen25. I want to see all you people in your Jets gear. And by the way, make sure you're wearing your Jets gear on Mondays too, even when they lose. For me, even when they lost to Ravens next day, I'm wearing my Jets gear representing at work. So I hope all of you are too. Okay, make sure you're doing that. Can't be only wearing it when they win. But all of you should enjoy this Victory Monday tomorrow and representing your Jets gear in any way that you're allowed to. Coffee mug, shirt. I'm going to be in full Jets gear. I work at a radio station. No one's going to see me, but the people in the office sure will. Instead of the nice game last weekend, the guys are going to be like, oh, Jets. You know, I'm going to be like, yeah, damn right. Show me a little more respect around here. So, yeah, that was nice. Robert S., the refs were atrocious. They absolutely were. I mean, let's just be real. That was god-awful. That was absolutely terrible. Back to Mitch here. They need to get to the quarterback, though. Hello, Mr. Lawson. Let's see what the actual numbers said. This is from ESPN, so this is not the official stats, and we got to check the tape, too. Carl Lawson had half a sack, which was nice. He got his first half sack. He combined with that on Carl Lawson. Only had one QB hit in the game and one solo tackle and 2 total tackles. So obviously not the kind of impact. I'll have to look at the advanced metrics for pressures and things of that nature. I don't have that information in front of me this quickly after the game. However, Mitch, I will say this. Carl Lawson needs to be the guy, and against the Bengals would be a great time for the D-line to take over as they're supposed to. That would really change the dynamic of this defense in general, because if they're suiting up, then the rest, it makes it easier on every other level of the defense. But we need more from Carl Lawson. I thought he was going to be the second coming of the Messiah, and so far this season, it's been a lot of hit and miss, at least from a statistical perspective. Let's see. Kyle Benjamin, here you go. A very honest take. I almost left the bar once Brown scored that last touchdown. So glad I didn't. I'm glad, Kyle, because that last September win, which is kind of funny that we bring it up, is I was in a local establishment. No free sponsorships on this show, but I was in a local establishment. It was Monday Night Football, Jets-Lions, right, for Sam Darnold's debut and all that jazz, week 1. I was really excited. I had all my food, my grub. I'm like, oh, this is going to be phenomenal. And everyone should remember the first play of Sam Darnold's career was a pick 6. And I'm the only Jets guy in the room. Everyone else is either Lions fans or just nobody fan, like NFL fans. And they look at me, as, again, I was probably wearing a Sam Darnold jersey, and they go, LOL, you suck. People came up to my table, said, you suck. Your team sucks. They're always going to suck. Suck it, basically, in my face. And I had nothing to do but go, I'll take it. Come on, feed it to me. And then when the Jets, of course, turned that game around and lit up the Lions like a Christmas tree, and hopefully that happens later this season, I was able to just hand it. I was just ready to, I was ready to just go crazy and shove it in all their faces. So, Kyle, I hope you had a similar moment. That one, the Lions one, less dramatic. They won by multiple scores. This one, more exciting. So hopefully you were able to give some people the business. Let's see. Big Daddy, which is the real Bizarro? Flacco this week or last week? Isn't that funny? Flacco elite. By the way, when I was there at MetLife Stadium last week, week 1, a Ravens fan came into the Jets team shop wearing the Ravens jersey, Flacco customized jersey. Instead of Flacco on the back, said elite for Ravens number 5, which I tweeted out, said respect, buddy. That's a great jersey. But what is more Bizarro, this week or last week on Flacco? I would say last week is more bizarre. And the reason why I'll say that is this. I always assumed when Flacco came in that there was a floor. I didn't think the ceiling was Super Bowl MVP. I came in with a sense of reality from that perspective. But when he was just so statuesque, I knew that, again, he had the mobility of a parked car before. That wasn't dynamically surprising. However, the ineffectiveness seemingly when no pressure was there, although his numbers ended up being pretty good. But just in the moment when I was at the game, it was like, whoa, this is not the Flacco I signed up for. This is not the Flacco that I was told about in training camp. So I'm going to say last week was a bizarre thing. This week, he was dealing. Again, he performed very well. We got all the numbers here in front of us. Flacco finished 26 of 44, so the completion percentage was terrible. But 307 yards, 7 yards a clip, which is around the number you want to see. 4 touchdowns, no picks. I did not realize that ended up being the final numbers for Flacco, which is great. Obviously, he had the lost fumble, the strip sack. Now, that's on both Max Mitchell for getting beat across by Jadeveon Clowney and also on Flacco. Like, you got to see Clowney there, so don't have the one hand on the ball, which could be strip sacked, and it was, and Jadeveon ended up jumping on it. Like, secure the ball, rip it through, and then throw. So that's a little on Flacco for not seeing it, a quarterback of his stature. However, Max Mitchell got beat like a pair of saloon doors. But overall, I mean, obviously, Flacco played spectacular. But I think last week is still the bizarro because I think last week is closer to the anomaly than this week, I would say. Again, Joe Flacco's are going to have 4 touchdowns and no picks every week, obviously. But I think last week closer to the bizarre. But good question, Big Daddy. Back to YouTube. Gino, Italy, Jet. What did I tell you, man? Let's go, my dude. 100%, man. And I love all the people who have been, representing this entire time. Let's go. Michael Rodriguez, Jets, Jets. Again, guys, I hope you're embracing this win. You deserve it, Jet fans. Embrace this. Savor the flavor. This is spectacular. This is amazing. Let's go to Lansky here, Santana on Facebook. This started in preseason, right or wrong? 100% it did. The Jets were undefeated in the preseason. We thought they were the second coming of, nobody's business. But a lot of the mumbo jumbo good feels obviously were developing the preseason as this team builds chemistry, camaraderie. But when the spotlight shines brightest, that's ultimately what you're, decided on. I don't have a banner in my house for the 3-0 Jets preseason, obviously. So that's obviously, I think, a factor that all of us have to keep in mind every time, certainly moving forward. So I think that's always something that everyone has to keep in mind, quite frankly, moving forward and quite frankly, all the time and every time. But again, it was a good point that, again, a lot of this was built, the foundation of this, certainly in the preseason. I think that is very fair to say, Lansky Santana. Another JETS chant. Russell, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Roshan Joshi, we won. And yes, we did. I want to give a shout out to one of the sponsors that makes all of this possible. Roshan Joshi, make sure you guys support him. He's a fellow Jets fan. And if you're curious about real estate or creating wealth through real estate business, our friends at XV Community hold a free weekly Zoom call for the public with a different 7-figure earner on as a guest every week. Connect with your peers, learn from guests, and ask questions. They do this for free. XV Community is one of the best lineups every week in real estate investing. If you want to go fast, just go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together as a team, as we do. Jet Nation. Follow him on Instagram at Rojo Sharp. On Instagram, again, Rojo Sharp. And you can also hit up the link on YouTube for signups for that. Again, shout out to Roshan for making all of this possible. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's go up, and away back on the channel. JETS, Jet. Watch out, Burrow. He was sacked 3 times on one drive today. Jets defense going to make a statement with Burrow next week. And again, I hope it's not false promises up, and away. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. And wow, news just coming in. Breaking news. Trey Lance has an ankle injury that will likely require season-ending surgery. Terrible news. Another guy from the Zach Wilson draft class, obviously. Terrible. Was about to have his opportunity to roll. And now Jimmy Garoppolo's team, which, by the way, I don't know how the 49ers are doing. Again, not watching live right now as we're doing this, but just breaking news just coming in on Trey Lance, which is super sad, which also is a healthy reminder that Zach Wilson is going to be coming back here next week, the week after. Who knows? We'll have to keep an eye out for that. But back to your point here, up, and away. Again, we've talked a lot about the defensive line taking over. I need to see it to believe it. They need to step up to the plate. A lot of talent, though, for that unit. Oliver Bleich, shout out to Flacco. 25 come from behind wins in the fourth quarter overtime. He looked inaccurate at first, but finds a way to win when he has to. And again, I think that's a good way to describe this team, Oliver, is the Jets did not look perfect today, but they just figured it out. And they made it. Again, this is what good teams do. Bad teams are what the Browns did. They find a way to lose. Good teams are the ones that did what the Jets did, find a way to win despite, uneven circumstances. Boycott Activision. Nightmare. Garrett effing Wilson. Yes, he looked spectacular. And we have a superstar wide receiver one on our hands. Maybe we have two with Elijah Moore, I also think is very good. And the thing I loved is his comeback story. Obviously, the Jets literally had to come back on the football field. But remember, Garrett Wilson late in the fourth quarter dropped an easy peasy lemon squeezy third down conversion, drops it, Jets punt. And I believe that was the one at the end where the Jets had like 2 minutes left after punting to the Browns. And again, trying to stave off. Then they had the stupid penalty on Marcel Harris. And I tweeted it and I still believe it. I would dump Marcel Harris yesterday for that stupid, childish, selfish push for a 15-yard penalty that could have lost the Jets a game. Ultimately, it didn't because the Jets had some magic in them, but just stupid. And they got to rein that kind of stupid crap in. But yes, Garrett Wilson looked like a stud. He had that drop and comes back to catch a game winner. I mean, that's really cool. That's what you like to see. Anthony Catalano, huge win for the Jets. You damn right it is. Let's see. YouTube, DJ Royalty. I love that. Jets need to flat out beat a team before we can get excited. Absolutely enjoy this crazy game, but at me when they flat out beat someone for a dub. Hashtag Jet up. DJ, that's a fine take to have. And if a lot of fans want to have some level of hesitancy, they have some level of trepidation before fully enjoying this win. First off, I'd say to those people, can you at least push those thoughts until tomorrow? Like, fully savor this win. Wins in the NFL are hard. Look at the Jets' last couple seasons, if you need an example, with 4 wins, 2 wins, and a bunch of garbaggio. So I hope everyone enjoys this win because the next one is never promised, firstly. Number 2, you're right. The Browns obviously had to shoot themselves in the foot to even open the door for the Jets' miraculous comeback. That wide open Corey Davis touchdown that took no time whatsoever gave the Jets plenty of time when they hit the onside kick and won. So there's no doubt about it. It takes 2 to tango. There was luck involved. And then the onside kick, which again, the conversion rate on onside kicks are super low. So all of that has to be considered. And yes, if you want to wait till the Jets just straight up beat the flying crap out of a team like 40-0, then fine, before you fully invest. But I hope all Jet fans, regardless of you're super optimistic, you're super pessimistic, whatever your flavor is, I hope you enjoy this win because we don't know how often they're going to come. Maybe this is the start of something magical. The Jets go to the playoffs and they're going to get a lot of wins over the next coming weeks, but I don't know. So I'm going to savor every one like it's the last one. And I hope that's what everyone else does as well. But fine, if people want to have levels of trepidation, I perfectly understand. Matt Irwin, remember when half the fan base wanted Flacco's head on a platter? Give him time and he can make the throws. Defense looked good, especially against a two-headed monster in Hunt and Chubb. Yeah, the numbers are gross facing Hunt and Chubb. They didn't allow 100 to either individually, but in its totality, they allowed 185 yards. So that was not good. But they win the game, so that on the surface seems to mean less. Now, there was a huge portion of the fan base, and I'm just going to hide this so people could see my mouth because this looks a little weird. But thank you, Matt Irwin, on Facebook for that comment. Yeah, I remember. To me, though, I thought the people were crazy. I mean, we covered it for Heavy.com because you can't not cover it. I was at the stadium last week, and Jet fans were loudly chanting Mike White. And I was not chanting with them. But I'll tell you this. Candidly, respectfully, Mike White is terrible. He had the great Hall of Fame game against Bengals. That's cool. His jersey's in the Hall of Fame. Awesome. But then he showed his true colors. His next full start against Buffalo, I mean, he was trash. He threw 4 picks and got benched for Joe Flacco. I think Mike White is a fine guy. And he had a spectacular debut, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, Flacco is a former Super Bowl MVP. Flacco has been there, done that. And while he may not have the mobility of Lamar Jackson, you saw what he's capable of today when the rest of the team supports him. So, for the people that put his head on a platter, that's fine. That's up to you individually if you did that or you wanted to do that. And I heard a couple like Jake Asman. I saw him on Twitter calling for Flacco's head too earlier in the game, and then he quickly changed his take when things changed. Like, whatever, you could do that if you want. That's Twitter and social media. But to me, again, you got to let it ride. And obviously, Saleh emphatically on August 3rd said Joe Flacco's a starting quarterback in this league. I believe that. And then after the first game, he seemed a little wayward, going, you never know if there's going to be a change, and ultimately stuck by him, and for good reason, because Flacco can deliver. That's why you brought him in. That's why they traded a pick for him initially. Charles M. on YouTube. With all the mistakes made in this game and to still pull out the win makes one hopeful that this team can accomplish when they're firing on all cylinders. And Charles, that was the same quote DJ Reed had after the game. He said that very thing. The offense, defense, and special teams have not all been in sync this entire year, and they're 1-1. Imagine what they'll do if they're all firing on all cylinders from that standpoint. Let's see. Abe Lab Studios. We had the better Garrett today. Great quote from Robert Saleh, who seemingly, I don't know if took a shot. That would be going too far. We'll play the clip, actually. I'll throw it up here on the screen. Robert Saleh, after the game, was, of course, asked about Myles Garrett. And, they had a plan, because a lot of people this week that thought the Browns were going to win, and a lot of people did, said, well, what the hell are you going to do to Myles Garrett? This Jets team is like, who do they have that could possibly block Myles Garrett? And Robert Saleh was asked about the effectiveness, because at first Myles Garrett was giving the Jets a business, but in the second half, he wasn't. Here is Robert Saleh. I cut up the clip. It's on my Twitter account. Again, I always cut up clips after the game at BoyGreen25 on Twitter. But here's what Robert Saleh had to say about his effectiveness on Myles Garrett in the second half.
Myles Garrett basically plays in the first half, but it seemed like
I think we wore him out. We were chipping the heck out of him, running. I thought we ran the ball really well for the most part, and it was hot down there. And you could just see. I mean, the guy's an unbelievable talent. But I think I'm not going to speak for him, but we were trying to bother the heck out of him all game.
And it seemed to work, quite frankly, if we're going to go from that perspective. It 100% worked. Now, Robert Saleh seemingly like poking, saying, we wore out Myles Garrett, huh? And, hey, flex on him if you want to. I mean, Myles Garrett obviously is a dynamic superstar. He's an elite player. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, perhaps the best, and finished with 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, and that's it. And all that came in the first half. And then the Jets, as he said, wore him down. Tight end chips, running back chips, which just made it harder for him to do all the normal stuff. So the heat, wearing him out, and all those things seemed to have a good one. So we had the better Garrett today. Maybe a joke to some people, but certainly on the day, it seemed that way. So really impressive stuff. Chrono Kenny. I just realized our whole 2022 draft class is seeing meaningful playing time. If we get 7 starters out of this 2022 class plus our 2020, we're cooking with gas. Chrono Kenny, by the way, you are the winner of our contest, my friend. Please reach out to me if you're still on the live stream. We also do giveaways on the channel, everybody. So that's another reason you guys should like the video and hit subscribe. Chrono Kenny, you are our winner of our Jet shirt giveaway from last week. So please reach out to me separately on social media. I have no contact info for you, just from the YouTube. So Chrono Kenny, again, hit me up at BoyGreen25, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We do shirt giveaways, New York Jets merch giveaways, people. So if you guys want to be involved in the next one, again, like the video, hit subscribe on YouTube.com/BoyGreen25 to have an opportunity to win some Jets merch. We'll be doing it all season long. So just like Chrono Kenny. So Chrono Kenny, I need your email. So get to me in some way, somewhere on one of my social media portals. I'm everywhere to get your shirt so Ulta can send it to you. So shout out to the fine folks over at Ulta for making that happen. But yes, to your question, 100%, we're getting a lot of meaningful playing time from these guys, and hopefully we get some good stuff. Which, by the way, real quick, side note, Michael Clemens' hit on Jacoby Brissett was not roughing the passer. What a trash call, by the way. God, the refs were awful. But again, trash. Again, Chrono Kenny, make sure you reach out to me ASAP on some other social media portal to get your shirt, excuse me. Let's see. Down 13 and no timeouts. Raw power. Again, we needed Nick Chubb to go in. So it was funny, though. So Nick Chubb goes in, and I'm like, wow, he could have just kneeled it. That's interesting. Because I remember, I think Nick Chubb was a player a couple years ago who decided to fall short of the end zone. A lot of fantasy owners were all in his mentions. And then this time he decides to go in. I just was like, And then the 13 points I missed for him, I'm like, could they come back? Nah. And then they did. So pretty cool. Chrono Kenny, Nathan Shepard had meaningful snaps. That part of the reason our D-line got gashed in the run game, along with Sheldon Rankins not being great either. I'm not sure if you're stating that as fact or you're asking my opinion, but probably. Again, both of those players not very good against the run, but Shepard, by the way, is a major coach favorite. Raw power still getting lit up by the screen. It's all acknowledged. A lot to clean up. There is, and it's a lot easier to clean things up after a win. But yeah, this Jets defensive line by nature is uber aggressive. Excuse me. And a lot of the time you can kind of get got. And that happens a lot with the screen game where they're just like, I always reference it as like a dog in traffic, like a dog goes, whoa, 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 traffic, 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 traffic. And they kind of get distracted. So like when the lanes open up on the offensive line, because they let you leak in, so you rush a quarterback, he goes bloop over the top to a running back and screens you to death. So yeah, that's been a thing that has messed around with the Jets for a long time, specifically in this solid scheme. So hopefully they clean that up. But they've been saying they're going to clean it up for a while and they haven't. So that kind of scares me. Dan, New York, I asked for a fun game, didn't expect an all-time classic. This is one we're going to remember for a long time. We got a lot of Jet Browns, juicy ones. The Santonio Holmes touchdown. Remember the walk-off, beautiful, by Old Tone Time and overtime. That was beautiful with like time waning. So yeah, we got a lot of good Jets Browns memories for sure. Chrono Kenny again. We have untapped edge talent and QNR D line, and that's it. Need some D tackles next year along with a free safety. Also, man, I get why the Jets have explained this before, but like Bryce Huff being inactive in the first 2 weeks, I'm not a big fan of. I get it. You wanted, Sal explained this last week. We wanted bigger guys for the run game and stuff, but Bryce Huff is good, man. And if a guy can rush a passer, that's good enough for me. Then take away from another position, but hopefully they clean that up. First 2 weeks of no Bryce Huff is somewhat upsetting. Not somewhat. I mean, that's upsetting. Let's see. Chrono Kenny, O-line played good and kept Clowney and Garrett in check. Yeah, Clowney got hurt through part of the game, but he did a very nice job. Let me see. What was the overall... yeah, Browns. Wow. Well, look at that. Browns had the Browns had 2 sacks in this game. One was from Jadeveon Clowney. One was from Myles Garrett. So 2 sacks allowed. Not too shabby, honestly. Not too shabby. It could have been much worse. William, enjoy the hell out of it. Will do. Joe Cool was unrattled all week. He sure was. John Hepburn, classic win. I just love talking about wins in general. That's always good. Raw power, great point. Garrett Wilson, why we couldn't wait until round 2 to pick a receiver. And that's what really made me pull the hair that I have left on my head out during the draft process when Jet fans just said, we'll wait till the second round to get a wide receiver. I said, hell no. Like, if you could get a guy that you believe in, they have their second whack at the pinata of any wide receiver in this draft not named Drake London. You got to go get a guy. And man, he quite frankly looked like the best wide receiver in that draft. Drake London's had some good moments too. We beat a playoff team again. Last year's Super Bowl runner-up was beaten by us last year. This team is underrated, 100%, and they got to keep delivering for sure. John Hepburn. Everyone, so Howard Strong, Franklin Myers update. According to Salah, everyone that was hurt at some point in this game came back in the game. JFM, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and there may be another one I may be missing because there was a lot of injuries in this game. The good news is everyone came back in the game, which is a good sign moving forward. Great point here by Duncan McLean. Good teams win games anyway when they play poorly, then they fix the poor play the next week. And maybe the Jets are moving into that category, but it certainly seemed that way from that point. Boycott Activision. Moore's going to have a big game soon. Then you got Wilson and Davis chomping at the bit. 100%. And I'm going to be honest, as the Garrett Wilson plays kept happening, again, Garrett Wilson kept making good plays happen. I'm like, whoa, we are like force feeding this guy. What about Elijah Moore? And again, he's going to be a guy, I agree with you, Boycott, that's going to go off. And then you have to make business decisions. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Garrett Wilson, and others. Tyler Conklin. By the way, Tyler Conklin, who has been on my channel before, so I love T-Conk, but dude, hold on to the biscuit, man. 2 fumbles in the first 2 weeks of the season. Dude, you got to clean that up. Luckily, the Jets recovered the fumble both times. But, dude, you're a tight end, man. You got to hold any position. But tight end, Tyler, man, brother, you got to make sure hold on to that biscuit. You're a great player, man. You can make a lot of great plays. You got to hold on to that biscuit. That's another lesson to be learned for sure. Let's see. Manish Mims. What a name. Can't watch football at bars. Too many close calls as far as fights go. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I enjoy watching it from the lovely confines of my home if I'm not at the stadium. Not just because of the craziness, but like, I don't like people yapping at me during the game. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb during the game, so I'm not getting text. I'm not getting fantasy updates. I'm getting nothing. I just want to watch the game. Now, during commercial breaks, I'll flip it back over and kind of look through, see if I missed anything, tweet out some stuff about the game. But nah, I normally avoid all that too. Boycott. Is it me or was the offensive line underrated this game? Jets offensive line, yeah. Again, they ended up allowing 2 sacks, very underrated. And they're only getting better. We're getting very better. And Mitch says it as well. Paul Green should be very disappointed in our quote unquote elite tight end group. That's got to change. No question. Uzama was out. That hurt. We had Ruckert in. Cager was an inactive. Kenny Yeboah was brought up, but yeah, man. The group that was supposed to be like a rock solid piece of this offense just simply hasn't been there. So hopefully they clean up. Let's see. Keep it going. John Hepburn, how did Corey Davis get so wide open? Again, I haven't checked out the All-22 yet, obviously, because we're still in the middle of game day, but it looked like Denzel Ward, the corner that was on that side of the field, shaded off for the safety to cover back over the top, almost like a little bit of like almost like a cover 3 shell to get that quarter side. And instead, obviously no one was there. So he was like, you got it, pal. And then he never got it. It was like the Sauce Joyner thing that happened. It's not the same defense, obviously, but they do run similar defensive concepts, the Browns and Jets. But it's almost like Sauce said, oh, Jordan, you got it. No, you got it. And then it blew it. The safety blew it on that. So that's what it looked like to me. I think Ward was supposed to man up on that, and he didn't. And or the safety was supposed to cover it, and the safety didn't. Either or, whoever you want to blame. But, yeah, thank God. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, cash out and first receipt cashed in on Brady saying 0-9 for us. Yeah, well, I will say this. I believe he said, I don't have the video. I think he said, they could start 1-8 or 0-9. I could definitely see that. So we're still not out of the woods, but that is one for sure. And Anita Marks is another one who said they could be 0-9 to start the season. So Anita Marks of ESPN, she said 1-8 or 0-9. So her and Brady Quinn's takes are eerily similar. So still some more meat on the bone for that one. But yes. Yeah, suck it, Brady Quinn, you bastard. All right. BC, 100%. This is a good question, comment. This could be a building block for long-term success. Again, the win in a nutshell can just be a win. But I think this, with the emotions of the locker room, the history of losing, all this stuff, this could be a rallying point for their season. I truly believe that. And Lauren James, I love that you say this. Following the Jets since 68, which is a good year, by the way. Disappointed many times, but never turned my back. That's how I feel. If I'm at a stadium watching a game, I don't give a flying hoot what happens. I watch to the end. I'm there to the end. I don't care if we're losing 45-0. I'm not going nowhere. I paid for my ticket, or I'm watching here. I support the team, and I feel like that should be the floor for all fans. But everyone makes their own decisions. KC Dog 3. Happy I don't have to hear fake Jet fans calling for Solomon Ulbrich to get fired this week. Yeah, we get that a lot. Too much. Good day for kickers. Yeah, Greg Zuerlein, baby. I never doubted you. Not for 1 second. And no one can confirm or deny that. 57-yarder. Yeah, buddy. Greg the Leg. Legatron. You could call him whatever the hell you want, but call him Jets kicker numero uno. So the Jets, Brant Boyer, Robert Saleh stood by Zuerlein, said he's a veteran. He's going to figure out just a bad day at the office against the Ravens. It looked that way, cashing in this time. The extra point at the end to win the game. If he misses that, we go to overtime. So field goal, extra point, so important. So important. So, yeah, shout out to Greg the Leg, Greg Zuerlein. Let's see. Makichu. I love that name. Great win, fans. Just enjoy the win. Bengals next. Yeah, I say enjoy the win regardless of if the Lions were next. You enjoy it because, as we just saw today with all these upsets all over the place, you never know. You never know. Any given Sunday, that's why they have the phrase. So I don't overlook anybody, especially since the Jets are the ones people normally overlook. So Jets can't be overlooking anybody. Boycott activism. Can you hit quarterbacks in the leg? I see it every week, but they called it today. Like, what is it? It is actually, if you guys remember, the Tom Brady rule. In 2008, I believe is the year, Tom Brady blew out his ACL and his MCL, and it was because a chief went low on Tom Brady. The NFL changed the rule. It's not really called the Tom Brady rule, but you might as well call it that. So you don't allow hits to the lower extremities. However, Michael Clemens, it seemed like his helmet hit the quad/thigh of Jacoby Brissett. Again, at a certain point, what can you do? You can't hit a quarterback high. That's hitting in the head. You can't hit him low. You can't drive your weight into him. Like, again, I can't even imagine being a defender in today's NFL where, don't hit him in the head. Don't hit him low. Well, don't land your weight on him. Then how the hell are you supposed to get this guy down in a game that's so vicious that you have to think twice about how you hit the guy? The Jets were close a couple of times. Excuse me, but they need to figure it out. Yeah, the Michael Clemens play. Again, I thought that was trash. Again, I thought the helmet hit the thigh. What are you going to do? Like, we're playing football, not bubble wrapping people. But it was a lot of crap calls. Let's see. A lot of the screen talk I see, again, Jets need to defend screens better, 100%. They need to get better there. Charles M. Garrett Wilson looks like he's open almost every route. He is a nightmare to cover and will be a problem for the defense. Imagine what he's going to be like next year when he puts on more muscle. 100%. He's got so much wiggle. Obviously, the body control is spectacular. He's able to get himself up there. He's got a lot of great hops. But yeah, his ability to just create. Elijah Moore was open a lot of times too, but Joe Flacco, it wasn't designed that way or what have you. But yeah, he looks good. He looks real good. Let's see. Thomas Cahill, Garrett, offensive rookie of the year. Very well could be. Great second game if he keeps getting the opportunities. Obviously, the meat's on the bone there. Mitch Weisenstein. They need to stop the stupid drive killing penalties. 100%. That was nauseating. Too many of those. That was tough. For sure. That was frustrating. That's going to be a point of emphasis, I hope, for them to clean it up. Now, a couple of the refs were just bad calls, but in general, the Jets got to clean up their end. Colonel Kenny can't cover all receivers. One of them is going to have a not-so-great linebacker safety or corner. Davis Moore Wilson, baby, 100%, and that feels good. By the way, on the defense, can we not put Tony Adams, undrafted free agent, on, I don't know, checks notes, Pro Bowl wide receiver Amari Cooper, please? Oh, my. Like, I went 22. Why does that number sound so familiar? But not familiar in the way that he should be covering Amari Cooper. Then it hit me. Wait a second, that's Tony Adams. And then Amari Cooper roasts him, immediately puts him on a turnstile. Like, what the hell, man? Oh, boy. Yeah, let's not do that again, Salah, for Pete's sake. I don't care what you feel about Tony Adams. He cannot cover Amari Cooper, who's one of the best route runners, one of the best route technicians in the NFL, for Pete's sake. I mean, good night. Oh, that was another one. Yeah, Casey Dog Rucker with the drop. Dude, catch the friggin' football, man. You're not going to get a lot of designed targets to you, so you just got to figure it out, man. Catch the ball. Speaking of, I want to give a major shout out to Mike LaFleur. I don't have my notes in front of me, so not sure why I took all those all game to not have them in front of me for the postgame show. But a lot of the notes I wrote down are hitting me now. Major tip of the cap to Mike LaFleur, who had manufactured touches for the best players on the team. Breece Hall, get a lot of those jet sweeps across. Great call. Garrett Wilson, manufactured touches to get him. That's the design plays to get him the football. So I love that on Garrett Wilson. Love that on Breece Hall. Like, that's what you need to do as the offensive coordinator. Chad Ochocinco Johnson, who's a Jets fan apparently, has been saying on Twitter, it's easy to be the offensive coordinator. Get the ball in these guys' hands. So the manufactured touches for Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson were phenomenal and night and day from week one. Let's go Dwaynery. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. This is what can happen when the offensive line protects the quarterback. The weapons we have the outside and the running backs, we're going to be hard to stop. Yeah, and again, that's why the quote, I can't remember who is the one who said it, but the quote that came out that the Jets can have one of the best offenses in the league if everything clicks. And people made fun of that again, LOL Jets, until they change it. But that one was hey, maybe there's a little something there. Randila here. Ineligible man downfield is just always going to happen. Brutal on the McGovern ones. The second one I don't understand. Like, the play happened so quick. How could he have possibly gotten downfield too fast? I don't think there was enough time, literally, from the snap to him being downfield where that could have been possible. So that one I just didn't understand at all. Let's see. Anthony G, can we also not call zone coverages on 3rd and goal in the red zone? Yeah, a couple of those are brutal. Like, who was supposed to be where? Now, normally Salah and Ulbrich are straight up man concepts on 3rd down, and they're supposed to be in the red zone too. But they had too many house calls on 3rd down, blitzing everybody, and then the one guy beats his one-on-one man, and then they get him. Or in your example, Anthony, where the zone coverage is just split and they just sit in the zone, boom, touchdown. The Amari Cooper one was wide open. Like, oh, God, that was annoying. Okay, let's go through a last couple here, guys. If you have a final comment or something, we could get it in as we wrap up basically an hour post-game show. Again, we got plenty of other conversations to come this week. So again, if you haven't already, go to youtube.com/boygreen25, where we're also streaming. Like the video, hit subscribe, whether you're watching live or watching after the fact. We got a lot of great content. Last week, we had Connor Hughes join the show of SNY TV. That was a fun chat, an hour chat with Connor Hughes. We do, of course, a weekly game preview. We had Jets Browns this week. We'll have Jets Bengals next week. So, guys, make sure you like the content, like the channel, and show your support for that. I'll see if there's one more breakdown. And yes, let me give one more, a perfect way to end. The onside kick was a thing of beauty. Again, Braden Mann was a guy that shanked a 20-yard punt in the Ravens game, and I think all of us were ready to cut the cord. And that's not the first time he struggled. And for the Jets to stick by their guy and he have the game-changing onside kick to get the win is amazing. And huge shout out to him for that. Well, everybody, that's going to do it for the post-game show. This was the first Heavy on Jets post-game show of the year again. For all of you who are looking for a little consistency in your life, 2 hours. 2 after every game will be right here streaming live on our Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and my Twitter account. So guys, make sure you bookmark it. I want to see you regulars back. I want to see you gaining some Chase Blue points with all the miles you're tracking. Coming back to this post-game show again, 2 hours after every Jets game all season long, baby. It's Boy Green and it's you, the fans. This is an interactive show. We want to hear from you, the fans, because you know what? I'm a fan, and I want to hear from fellow fans. And we need to ride this roller coaster and see where it goes, because I have a feeling this is going to be a special year, and I want all of you on the ride with me here on Heavy on Jets Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Everybody, what a beautiful win. I hope you enjoy. Go party it up. Enjoy it. Enjoy your Victory Monday tomorrow. We'll be back all throughout this week with videos on the channel getting you ready for Jets Bengals home opener, and it should be a lot of fun. God bless everybody. Thanks for joining us. We got so much more coming right here on the channel. Go Jets, and feel free on our Heavy on Jets Facebook page to check out all our featured articles on this game, talking about it, breaking it down. And if you're not already, like the Heavy on Jets Facebook page and make sure you follow us. Thanks, everybody. Peace out. Jets win. Jets. Jets, 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 baby.